So let's begin to, I'm going to begin to impose sanctions in response far beyond the steps we and our allies and partners implemented in 2014. And if Russia goes further with this invasion, we stand prepared to go further as with sanctions. Who in the Lord's name does Putin think gives him the right to declare new so-called countries on territory that belong to his neighbors?
Got a little away from the teleprompter there, Joe. Joining me now, Bryan Dean Wright. He's an opinion writer, former CIA ops officer. All right, setting aside the execution of that particular speech, Bryan, what exactly, can you give us some specifics? What are we doing now that hurts Russia? How can we escalate that going forward? What is the plan if we actually choose to stick our noses in this?
Well, I think that's the huge question that a bunch of us who have served in the intelligence community would like to know. And those of us who have been to Afghanistan and Iraq, who've lost friends, we've lost arms and legs, we'd like to know that not only for ourselves, but people who are currently serving if we've retired. And that really is what this comes down to, is what is the goal, what is the purpose, and who's going to contribute to whatever that might be. So you would think, wouldn't you, that our European friends would be the first ones to be putting troops in the front lines. In fact, should they have been doing that for the last couple of weeks? But they haven't. Why? Because obviously they don't care enough, because if they did, they would have already done it. So what I'm not seeing is a very clear strategic or even tactical set of justifications for what our role ought to be, other than the bumper sticker, hey, let's stand up for Ukraine freedom and democracy. I'm not sure if exactly our friends in Ukraine and Kiev fit the description of democracy. Of course they don't. So I'm not seeing the strategic goals laid out for the American people. I'm not seeing the tactical challenges ahead, the sacrifices ahead. Because if Europe isn't willing to defend their own backyard, then why should we? Still haven't seen or heard the case for that.
Oh, God have mercy. That'll be a day I really do not want to be right. All right, let's set us aside for a moment. Europe. Obviously, Europe has quite a military history. Countries like France, as fun as they are to make fun of, actually has an outstanding military history. Fought like lions in World War I. I mean, really, really great stuff. But times have changed. There's been a huge drawdown there where we've handled most of the heavy lifting as far as that goes. Let's take America out of it. What are Europe's capabilities compared to Russia's capabilities?
Yeah. You were bringing up perhaps the most important piece that I think you folks who are listening and watching need to understand. We're hearing a lot about sanctions. Let's sanction Russia. All right. The issue is, if you don't address the China angle on this, those sanctions will do virtually nothing, right? So we've seen with North Korea, they continue to flourish, build their nuclear weapons program because Beijing allows it. The extent to which Russia has a relationship with Beijing, then they're going to be able to escape all the consequences of those sanctions. So China is absolutely the linchpin here. So the question is, to what extent have Putin and Xi, the dictator of China, to what extent have they decided, hey, we need to carve up the world based on our leadership, not the U.S., not Europe. It's a new day that has dawned. And so the question becomes, if Russia pushes on the Western Front, and then China then has an opening to push into Taiwan and take it back, can we as the United States or Europe fight a two-front war? And the answer is no. I mean, for Pete's sakes, the Europeans won't even put their own troops in Ukraine to stop Russia. So do we think that the United States, after 20 years of fighting in Afghanistan, our folks are beat up, we've got garbage leadership, that we are somehow going to lead this fantastic fight in the Pacific again and Europe again? Ain't going to happen. So as you have and others have repeatedly tried to ring the bell on, we're not ready for that fight. And in America, as again, you have been ringing the bell on, they're going to realize too late that we're not ready for it.
Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.